Do you want an education? Do you want a job? Then why not get an education that will get you a job? Where can I find that combination, you ask? The answer is staring you in the face. The practical solution is Ryerson. Ryerson Polytechnical Institute is unique not only because of its historical roots, but because it is Canada's only degree-level polytechnic. In other words, you can get training for a specific career and a degree as well. St. James Square, the site of Ryerson, has been contributing to the Canadian working force from as far back as the mid-1800s. Now that's what I call a reputation builder. Let me elaborate with a little historical background. In 1850, Egerton Ryerson, first superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction for Upper Canada, paid £4,500 for a 7.5-acre piece of land, which is now the southwest corner of Church and Gerrard Streets. On this block of land, he established his normal school. From 1852 through to 1940, the normal school trained teachers for Upper Canada's expanding public school system. In 1941, the normal school was moved to Pape Avenue to accommodate the Royal Canadian Air Force, who used the site for training pilots. After the war and up until the fall of '48, the location was known as the Rehab, short for Rehabilitation and Training Institute. The purpose of this institute was to re-establish and train veterans returning from the Second World War. In September of 1948, the site became known as the Ryerson Institute of Technology, and it opened its doors to a meager 200 students. At the time, Ryerson offered courses in various durations, from 6 weeks to 2 years in such areas as radio broadcasting, welding, butchering, bricklaying, and watchmaking. As soon as these courses were offered, many people thought that the school would surely close in a short period of time. But that was not to be the case. Howard Kerr, Ryerson's first principal, decided to do a little image changing. He made it mandatory for all male students to wear a tie and jacket. Naturally, the females followed suit and dressed in a similar fashion, which resulted in an article published by Maclean's magazine in the late 50s, referring to Ryerson as the asphalt campus with the executive look. In the 1950s, Canada's demand for skilled people boomed, as did Ryerson's enrollment. The reason? Ryerson was the right idea at the right time. By 1956, Ryerson's enrollment had increased by 2,000 students. In fact, the early 60s found Ryerson in a position of having to turn away students so often that a public outcry was heard for further expansion of technical schools. By 1953, all trade courses were gone from Ryerson and given to the Provincial Institute of Trades, which was renamed George Brown College. From that point on, all programs at the Institute were of a technological or applied arts nature, most being an average of 2 years in duration. These courses were so successful that by 1958, every graduate was very certain of obtaining a job in his chosen field. The 60s marked a new generation of students and important changes in Ryerson's historical development. In April of '63, the Board of Governors was established, and Ryerson Institute of Technology was renamed Ryerson Polytechnical Institute. Also in that same year, the building known as the Quad was completed, and in 1971 named Howard Kerr Hall. The 60s also marked a period of campus expansion with the purchase of the O'Keefe property in 1966. By 1975, the Ryerson community had grown to occupy some 7 city blocks. In 1971, Ryerson became eligible to grant degrees, the two being a Bachelor of Technology and a Bachelor of Applied Arts degree. Today, Ryerson has more than 30 different degree and diploma programs. Just as Ryerson's programs have evolved, so has its philosophy.
Ryerson's role is that of preparing young people for a career, not for a specific job, but for a whole career area, so they can take many jobs within that area. I think we're trying to prepare young people who will have a breadth of education, particularly in the liberal arts and humanities and social sciences. In many ways, Ryerson is really a place to go if you know what you want to do and you're prepared to work very hard to achieve that goal. Ryerson, in a sense, is what it does. And you can see Ryerson by the wide number of programs it presents.
Any student enrolled in any of these courses should be aware of what Ryerson can offer, apart from academic courses. The more you know what is offered, the more you can take advantage of these services, and the easier it will be to fit into the Ryerson community. Ryerson has its own student union, better known as SERPI. Not only does it provide political organization, but also useful services to Ryerson students. These services include orientation events, a parade, an island picnic, concerts and movies, typing facilities and print shop, a lost and found service, an accident and sickness plan, campus radio station, time out center, winter carnival, and even allows you to enjoy the benefits of the Canadian University Travel Service. As if these aren't enough, SERPI also offers the services of a used bookstore and even a barber shop. They don't cut corners. As you can see, Ryerson is on the go. It has 2 gyms, a 25-yard swimming pool, a weight room, mat room, fencing, table tennis, skating rink, and you can indulge in water polo, football, softball, ball hockey, ice hockey, basketball, and broomball. Whatever you do, you'll have a ball. But coming to Ryerson is not all fun and games. If you're from out of town and need a place to stay, there are certain things you should know about living accommodations. Ryerson is located in downtown Toronto, and this situation creates a housing shortage. You can find accommodations anywhere in Toronto, but if you wish to live near the campus, there are several options open to you. There is the Co-op Neil Weisig building, which houses 600 students. Perhaps you might choose to stay in either Willard Hall or one of the nurses' residences available in the area. There is also Ryerson's male residence, O'Keefe House. However, the best place to contact for assistance is Ryerson's Housing Registry. And once you've settled in at Ryerson, you may take full advantage of the great city life which Toronto offers. But don't forget to mix pleasure with business. You will equally enjoy the many fine courses at Ryerson. Each department will train you for a specific career, but most important, it's done in a very unique and satisfying way. The Radio and Television Arts program is one such department. It is designed to prepare students to take a job in any and all aspects of the broadcasting industry. From its initiation as a 9-month radio broadcasting course in 1948, the student has had the opportunity to increase his intellectual, technological, and creative abilities through classroom discussion and hands-on experience. The beginning of this tradition was marked by the Ryerson Institute of Technology's establishment of CJRT-FM in 1949, which was kept on the air technically by electronic engineering students. Management and programming operations were tended to by radio students and the broadcasting faculty. Several years after CJRT-FM began broadcasting, the Communication Arts program was expanded to 2 years. With the addition of television facilities in 1953, the Communication Arts course became a 3-year diploma radio and television arts program. In 1960, RTA moved from its Quonset hut location on the corner of Victoria and Gould to the east block of what is now known as Howard Kerr Hall. Up until 1965, CJRT-FM was funded and kept on the air by the Institute. However, CJRT-FM went completely professional later that year and became an educational and community service station. As a result, RTA students played a less conspicuous role in its daily operations. In 1967, CJRT-FM moved to its present facilities, still located on the Ryerson campus, at 297 Victoria Street. In that same year, Television Studio B became RTA's first fully equipped color studio. Almost 10 years later, in 1976, enough money was allocated to refurbish Television Studio A to a modern color television facility. RTA's radio and television facilities improved on a yearly basis. The RTA program has been carefully designed to provide the student with both a theoretical and practical application of equipment and operation, as well as written and verbal communication skills. Year 1 of the 3-year program is basically devoted to audio production. Through the use of a combination of writing, announcing, speech, and audio production labs, the student is encouraged to develop skills in many areas related to radio broadcasting. Students are also encouraged to seek professional opinions based on the quality of their productions. In the past, first-year RTA students have submitted documentaries to CFNY-FM, CBL, and CKO News Radio. In second year, the student is required to take 1 term of introductory television production. In the second term of that year, the student has the option of further study of radio production or the opportunity to take an introductory film course. The third and final year is the time when the student applies his knowledge to an intensified study of television. He can also take advanced courses in radio or film production. All of these courses are taken alongside academic courses such as history, English, and sociology, as well as other courses related to the media, art and communications, advertising, children's television. This combination of academic and applied study leads to the development of a well-rounded student ready to apply his skills to a working world. As a close tie to the professional world, students are encouraged to partake in extracurricular activities. The skills that are learned in the studio labs are applied to productions which can be submitted to companies in the professional field. Students can get involved in productions for Global Television, TV Ontario, and CHCH TV. Students can also do their own personal productions, and the sky's the limit in terms of what they can produce. This experience gives the student a unique opportunity to put all of his skills together and even use his finished productions to help him get a job.
It always amazes me how many jobs our graduates achieve in the marketplace. For example, I just found out this week that one of our grads is an assistant editor at Chatelaine. Many of our young people go to the agency field. They end up in film. They attain jobs as producers, as directors, as writers in radio stations and television stations. And this is by virtue of the fact that the course is generalized in nature and tries to give the student who attends the RTA program a general type of skill which they can apply to a variety of jobs, and so that they turn up everywhere. And we often hear this as members of our faculty or people who are associated with RTA go out into the industry. If they're in Africa, or if they're in China, or if they're in an agency in Toronto, it's almost dead certain that one of the people there will be an RTA graduate.
So as you can see, the radio and television arts program at Ryerson is both educational and highly practical. The work is interesting, unique, creative, and highly rewarding. And everything is designed to give the student the best possible chance of obtaining employment in his chosen line of work. At the end of 3 years, students have put together an impressive resume which helps them obtain employment in their chosen field of interest. So now you've seen what Ryerson can do for you. We've got the reputation and the courses just waiting for you. If you want an education, and you want a job, and you're looking for the winning combination of both, come to Ryerson, the practical solution.